What if the most powerful voice in any room isn't the loudest, but the quietest? What if true influence isn't found in commanding attention, but in commanding oneself so completely that attention is freely given? This is the paradox of quiet leadership. Lead quietly, impact deeply. Stoic Voice, Emotional Control, compiled and published by Stoic Power. Lesson 1. Silence that commands respect. Imagine a wise monarch seated on their throne, observing the courtiers as they bustle and chatter. The king does not need to shout to be heard. Their very silence is a vessel of power, drawing the focus of the entire room. In this silence, there is observation, contemplation, and an unspoken authority that 1,000 loud proclamations could never achieve. This image stands in stark contrast to a common inner conflict we all face: the nervous compulsion to speak, to fill every conversational gap, to prove our worth or intelligence by constantly contributing noise. We fear that if we are quiet, we will be seen as uninformed, unimportant, or unengaged, especially in a modern world that prizes instant reactions and constant digital chatter. This fear drives us to speak when we have nothing of value to add, to offer opinions hastily, and to dominate conversations, all in an anxious bid for validation. The fundamental problem is that an excess of words devalues them. When you are always talking, your words become like common stones, scattered everywhere and given little notice. People learn to tune you out, anticipating a constant stream rather than potent, impactful statements. This habit of overspeaking doesn't project confidence. It signals an underlying insecurity, a desperate need for external acknowledgement. It prevents you from doing the one thing that is essential for true understanding and connection: listening. By constantly formulating your next sentence, you miss the nuances, the unspoken truths, and the deeper currents of the interaction happening right in front of you. You broadcast, but you fail to receive. In the silence you sow fear. Vital information resides in the other person's body language, in their hesitations, in the very subtext of what they are saying. By filling that space with noise, you blind yourself to the deeper reality of the situation. The transformative solution is to reclaim the power of your silence and learn to wield it with intention. This isn't about becoming mute or withdrawn. It's about transforming silence from an empty space you fear into a powerful tool you command. The core idea, deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, is that a person who is comfortable in their own silence demonstrates profound self-mastery. This composure communicates that you are not driven by nervous impulses, but are instead anchored in a state of calm observation. You create a space where others feel compelled to be more thoughtful, more considered, and more honest. Your silence becomes a canvas against which important words can be painted with greater clarity. It invites respect because it shows you value not only your own words, but the attention of those you are with. It is an act of generosity that allows others the space to think and express themselves fully. To cultivate this respected silence, you must begin with clear, actionable practices. The first is to master the thoughtful pause. Before you answer a question or offer an opinion, take a deliberate breath. This small gap signals that you are considering your words, which immediately increases their perceived value. It also gives you a moment to decide if speaking is even necessary. The second practice is to shift your conversational goal from "what will I say next?" to "what is this person truly trying to communicate?" Listen with the singular intent to understand. Ask clarifying questions. Let the other person fully empty their thoughts before you begin to formulate your own. This not only shows immense respect, but gives you a more complete picture of reality before you respond. The benefits of applying these actions will ripple through every relationship in your life. At work, colleagues will begin to see you as more thoughtful and authoritative. In your personal life, loved ones will feel more deeply heard and understood. You will find that when you do choose to speak, your words land with far greater impact. You will gain a reputation for wisdom and composure, not because you know all the answers, but because you have the discipline to wait for the right ones. You will become a person of presence and substance. Your practice, starting today, is to enter one conversation with the conscious intention of speaking 20% less than you normally would. Use that reclaimed space to simply listen and observe. Feel the shift in the dynamic. This is your first step toward commanding respect without ever having to demand it. This powerful silence is not an empty tactic. It is the outward expression of a profound inner stillness. To build influence, we must first build this emotional quietude. In our next lesson, we will explore how emotional stillness becomes the bedrock of true influence. If you're ready to continue this journey, support our channel by liking this video to let us know these lessons are making an impact. Lesson 2. Emotional stillness builds influence. Picture a deep, clear lake on a windless day. Its surface is a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky, the mountains, and the trees with absolute fidelity. It shows the world as it is. This is the mind of a quiet leader. Now, imagine a sudden squall, and the lake's surface is shattered into 1,000 agitated waves, offering only a distorted, chaotic reflection. This is the mind in a state of emotional reactivity. The inner conflict is between our desire to be a source of stability and good judgment and the powerful instinctual pull of our emotions: anger, fear, frustration, and elation. We want to be the calm lake, but we often act like the stormy one, reacting impulsively to every piece of news, every provocation, every setback. This emotional volatility is a critical problem because it destroys the foundation of influence: trust. When your moods and reactions are unpredictable, people become hesitant to rely on you. They cannot trust your judgment because they know it is easily clouded by your current emotional state. If you react angrily to bad news, people will learn to hide it from you. If you become visibly anxious under pressure, your team will lose confidence. This creates a phenomenon known as emotional contagion, where the leader's emotional state spreads like a virus, infecting the entire group. Your anxiety becomes their anxiety. Your panic becomes their panic. An emotional leader creates an environment of instability and caution, where people are more focused on managing the leader's feelings than on solving problems. Your influence shrinks because your emotional state becomes a liability that others must constantly navigate. The transformative solution is to cultivate a state of emotional stillness, becoming the calm lake regardless of the weather. This doesn't mean becoming an unfeeling robot. It means uncoupling your internal state from external events. The core Stoic idea is that events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation, our judgment, and our story about those events that creates the emotional storm. By mastering this internal space, you can feel an emotion arise. Anger, for instance, without becoming anger itself. You can observe it, understand its message, and then choose a rational, purposeful response. This ability to remain centered while the world churns around you is what builds profound, unshakable influence. People are naturally drawn to a center of gravity, to a source of calm in a crisis. They seek refuge in the presence of someone whose stillness makes them feel safe. The path to emotional stillness is paved with mindful, daily practice. The first actionable step is to practice non-judgmental observation of your emotions. When you feel a strong emotion arise, instead of being swept away by it, pause and name it internally. This is frustration, or I am feeling the sensation of anxiety. This simple act of naming creates a space between you and the emotion, turning you from a participant into an observer. The second step is to constantly remind yourself that emotions are transient visitors. Like clouds passing across the sky, they come and they go. Don't try to fight them or cling to them. Simply acknowledge their presence and let them pass without allowing them to dictate your actions. As you apply these practices, you will experience a monumental shift in your personal power. Your relationships will deepen as people find you to be a source of stable, non-anxious presence. Your decision-making will improve dramatically as it will be based on clear-eyed reality, not emotional distortion. You will become the person others turn to in a crisis, not because you have all the answers, but because your stillness gives them the space to find their own. They will bring you bad news without fear, which means you will always get the most accurate information. Your influence will grow organically, built on a foundation of trust and reliability. Your practice exercise is this. The next time you feel a strong negative emotion, stop what you are doing. Take 3 deep breaths and repeat to yourself, "This is a temporary feeling. I am the observer, not the storm." Feel the power in that separation. This emotional stillness is the invisible source of a very visible quality, authority. In our next lesson, we will explore how to build and project this authority without resorting to noise or aggression. Let us know in the comments what emotion you find most challenging to observe without judgment. Your honesty can help others on this path feel less alone. Lesson 3: Authority without the noise. Consider a master artisan in their workshop, a woodworker, a painter, a calligrapher. Their authority does not come from a title on a door or the volume of their voice. It emanates from their quiet, focused, and masterful execution of their craft. Their deep competence is their authority. People lean in to watch, they listen intently to their soft-spoken advice, and they respect their judgment implicitly, all because the evidence of their mastery is undeniable. This presents a stark inner conflict for many who believe authority is something that must be performed loudly. We see people vying for dominance in meetings, speaking with false bravado, or using their formal position as a club, believing this is how authority is demonstrated. This belief is often fueled by an imposter syndrome, the secret fear that we don't belong, which drives us to overcompensate with noise. The problem with this approach is that it confuses force with authority. Forcing compliance through aggression, volume, or title creates resentment and resistance, not genuine followership. People may obey out of fear or obligation, but they will never offer their creativity, their loyalty, or their best work. This noisy performance of authority is almost always a mask for a deep-seated insecurity, a fear that without the noise, no one would listen. It is a hollow and exhausting way to lead, demanding constant vigilance and energy to maintain the facade. Ultimately, it is a fragile power. The moment the force is removed, the authority vanishes. The transformative solution is to stop performing and start embodying authority through your actions. It is to focus so intently on your character and your craft that your authority becomes a self-evident truth, requiring no announcement. The core idea is that genuine authority is a byproduct of integrity and excellence. This aligns with the Stoic virtue of living according to reason and nature. Your nature as a leader is to be competent, rational, and trustworthy. When you align your actions with this nature, authority flows from you as a natural consequence. When people know that you are exceptionally skilled at what you do and that your word is your bond, they will naturally grant you authority. They will seek your opinion, trust your decisions, and want to align with your efforts. This is the quiet authority that truly inspires and influences. It is magnetic, not coercive. You can build this authentic authority through 3 clear, actionable commitments. First, commit to excellence in your domain. Whatever your work is, strive to be an artisan. Go deeper than anyone else. Understand the fundamentals, practice relentlessly, and take quiet pride in the quality of your output. Let your work speak for itself. Second, commit to absolute integrity. Do what you say you will do, every single time. Be honest, transparent, and take responsibility for your mistakes. An unshakable reputation for integrity is the bedrock of trust. Third, project quiet confidence. This comes not from arrogance, but from a deep internal knowledge of your own competence and character. It is reflected in your calm demeanor, your steady gaze, and your resistance to being flustered. The benefits of building authority this way are profound. You will be liberated from the exhausting work of acting like a leader and can simply be one. You will attract talented and motivated people who are drawn to your excellence, not compelled by your title. You will foster an environment of psychological safety and trust where people feel empowered to do their best work. Your influence will become deep and lasting, immune to office politics or changing hierarchies. Your practice is to identify one specific area of your work. For the next week, dedicate an extra 30 minutes each day to deepening your skill in that one area, purely for the sake of mastery itself, not for any external reward. This quiet authority, built on a foundation of competence and integrity, has its most significant expression in the way you make decisions. In our next lesson, we will see how calm, deliberate decisions become the engine of strong outcomes. Subscribe to Stoic Power to ensure you don't miss this crucial step in becoming a quiet, impactful leader. Lesson 4. Calm decisions shape strong outcomes. Picture the captain of a ship navigating through a treacherous storm. Panic and chaos rage around them, yet their hand is steady on the wheel. Their eyes are not on the waves crashing over the bow, but on the compass and the distant horizon. They make small, deliberate adjustments, their mind calm and focused on the ultimate destination. The safety of the entire ship rests on the quality of decisions made in this state of composed clarity. This is the ideal, yet we so often face the inner conflict of making critical choices while being tossed on the waves of our own emotions. We make financial decisions out of fear or greed, career choices out of excitement or frustration, and relationship choices out of anger or loneliness. The central problem is that decisions made in a state of emotional arousal are almost always flawed. When emotions like fear, anger, or even intense excitement are in the driver's seat, our rational, long-term thinking brain takes a back seat. We are prone to cognitive biases, focusing only on the information that confirms our emotional state and ignoring contradictory evidence. This leads to impulsive choices that create a cascade of negative consequences, forcing us to spend our future cleaning up the messes of our past. Furthermore, we suffer from decision fatigue. Making dozens of small, emotionally charged choices throughout the day, reacting to emails, arguing on social media, depletes our willpower, leaving us vulnerable to making poor judgments on the things that truly matter. A single hasty decision can undo years of hard work, demonstrating that the quality of our outcomes is directly tied to the quality of our decision-making process. The transformative solution is to create an unbreakable rule for yourself. Never make a significant decision in a heightened emotional state. You must learn to separate the act of feeling from the act of deciding. The core Stoic principle here is the disciplined use of reason as the ultimate guide. Emotions provide valuable information. They are signals that something needs attention, but they should never be the decision makers themselves. By creating a space between the emotional signal and the executive decision, you allow the storm to pass and the clear light of reason to illuminate the best path forward. This practice ensures that your choices are shaping your future rather than your fleeting moods. It treats decision-making not as a reaction, but as a deliberate, sacred act of creation. You can implement this calm decision-making process with a few powerful steps. First, institute a mandatory cooling-off period for all important decisions. Whether it's 24 hours or 1 hour, give yourself a set amount of time before you commit. This allows the initial emotional intensity to fade. Second, during this period, deliberately seek out disconfirming evidence. If you are excited about an investment, actively search for the reasons it might fail. If you are angry with someone, challenge yourself to see the situation from their perspective. This practice counteracts emotional bias. Third, clarify your desired outcome. Ask yourself, what is my ultimate goal here? What principles do I want to uphold? Making a decision that aligns with your deepest values is always a strong choice, regardless of the immediate outcome. By making calm decisions, you will become the architect of your own success. You will avoid countless mistakes and regrets, saving yourself immense time, money, and emotional energy. You will build a life that is a reflection of your deepest values, not your most volatile emotions. People will come to trust your judgment implicitly, knowing that it is forged in the cool fire of reason, not the chaotic heat of impulse. Your life's trajectory will become a steady, upward climb, shaped by strong, deliberate choices. For your practice, identify one pending decision in your life right now. Instead of making it, schedule a time tomorrow to think about it. Use the intervening time to simply let the emotions settle, without judgment. The clarity of your decisions is often first revealed through the clarity of your words. How you speak is a direct reflection of how you think. In our next lesson, we will explore how controlled, deliberate speech can create a magnetic presence. Share this video with someone you know who values clear thinking and help us grow the Stoic Power community. Lesson 5. Controlled speech, magnetic presence. Think of a powerful magnet. It doesn't rush around, noisily trying to grab things. It rests in a state of quiet, inherent power, and its nature is to draw things of substance to it. This is the effect of a magnetic presence, and it is built upon the foundation of controlled speech. The inner conflict here is our tendency towards verbal sloppiness. We use filler words like and like, we speak in imprecise generalities, we repeat ourselves, and worst of all, we engage in gossip, complaining, or negativity. We often speak not to communicate, but simply to make noise, to fill a void, or to vent unfiltered thoughts. This lack of verbal discipline is a significant problem because it signals a lack of mental discipline. Uncontrolled speech makes you sound uncertain, unfocused, and untrustworthy. Filler words undermine your authority. Complaining marks you as a victim, not a problem solver, and it actively lowers the energy and morale of everyone around you. Gossip, the most toxic of all, instantly destroys trust and signals that you cannot be relied upon to act with integrity. People are subconsciously repelled by this kind of verbal chaos. They may be polite, but they will not be drawn to you. They will not confide in you. They will not see you as a leader. Your presence, far from being magnetic, becomes leaky and forgettable. People feel less focused and less clear after speaking with you, not more. The transformative solution is to begin treating your words as a valuable and finite currency, to be invested wisely and with great care. The core idea is that your words are a direct extension of your mind. A clear, controlled, and purposeful use of language reflects a clear, controlled, and purposeful mind. When you speak with precision and intention, you are demonstrating self-mastery. This creates a presence that is incredibly magnetic. People lean in. They listen intently because they know you are not wasting their time with noise. They feel smarter and more focused in your presence because you model clarity. They are drawn to the reliability and confidence that your controlled speech projects. You can forge this magnetic presence through a few key verbal disciplines. First, practice the art of precision. Before you speak, take a millisecond to find the exact word that conveys your meaning. Strive to say what you mean in the fewest possible words. This takes effort, but it makes your communication incredibly powerful. Second, wage a silent war on filler words. Become aware of your personal verbal tics, and practice pausing in silence instead. A moment of silence is far more powerful than a meaningless sound. Third, and most importantly, take a vow of zero gossip and complaining. Make your presence a no-complaint zone. When you speak about problems, do so only in the context of seeking a solution. The benefits of this discipline are almost immediate and deeply impactful. You will sound more intelligent, confident, and authoritative. People will trust you more, as they know your words are reliable and that you are not speaking ill of others behind their backs. You will find your own thinking becomes clearer as you force yourself to articulate your thoughts with precision. Your presence will become calming and compelling. You will become the person whose opinion is sought and valued, the quiet magnet in the room. Your practice exercise is to go an entire day without a single complaint. Notice how many times you are tempted, and each time, choose silence or a constructive statement instead. This deliberate control over your speech is a powerful form of a much broader Stoic virtue, inner restraint. In our next lesson, we will explore how the cultivation of inner restraint is the ultimate source of personal power. If you found this lesson valuable, let us know by hitting the like button. It's a quiet way of telling us we're on the right track. Lesson 6. Power through inner restraint. Imagine a massive hydroelectric dam. It holds back the power of a mighty river, an almost unimaginable force. The dam's strength is not in letting the water flow freely, but in its capacity to hold it back, to restrain it, and to channel that immense power for a specific, constructive purpose. This is the metaphor for inner restraint. The constant inner conflict of the human condition is the battle between our higher, rational self and our lower, impulsive self. We are faced every day with the desire for instant gratification, the urge to lash out in anger, to indulge in an unhealthy craving, to procrastinate on a difficult task, to say the cutting remark. Our modern world is an environment engineered to dismantle our restraint. with infinite scrolling, one-click purchases, and constant notifications demanding our immediate reaction. The problem is that a life without restraint is a life of slavery. If you cannot restrain your temper, you are a slave to anyone who can provoke you. If you cannot restrain your appetites, you are a slave to the whims of your body and the marketing of corporations. If you cannot restrain your impulse to seek comfort and avoid difficulty, you are a slave to circumstance. A lack of inner restraint means your life is not being directed by your conscious, chosen values, but by a chaotic mix of external triggers and internal impulses. It is the definition of powerlessness, and it prevents you from achieving any meaningful, long-term goal. It keeps you trapped in cycles of behavior you consciously regret. The transformative solution lies in cultivating the virtue of restraint as a primary source of strength. This is the conscious and disciplined practice of holding back, of choosing your long-term values over your short-term feelings. The core Stoic idea here is that true power is not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the strength to not do what you know you shouldn't. Every time you practice restraint, you are casting a vote for your higher self. You are strengthening the muscle of your will, proving to yourself that you are the one in command of your life. Each act of restraint builds what the Stoics called the inner citadel, a mental fortress that remains secure and untouchable, regardless of the chaos raging outside. This act of self-mastery is the ultimate expression of personal power and freedom. You can build this immense power through clear, actionable practices of restraint. First, practice delaying gratification. The next time you have an urge for a snack, a purchase, or a digital distraction, deliberately wait for a set period, even just 10 minutes. This creates a space where you can consciously choose your action. Second, practice restraining your tongue. Make it a challenge to be the last one to offer an opinion in a meeting or to go through a whole conversation without offering any unsolicited advice. This builds immense observational power. Third, practice voluntary hardship. Fasting from social media for a day, taking a cold shower, or doing a difficult workout are all powerful forms of training your will to overcome your body's desire for comfort. By embracing restraint, you will unlock a new level of power and freedom in your life. You will become master of your own domain, no longer tossed about by your moods or impulses. Your capacity for deep focus will skyrocket as you learn to restrain your urge for distraction. You will earn a profound level of self-respect that no external achievement can provide. You will become like the dam, a source of immense, controlled, and constructive power. Your practice is to choose one impulse you struggle with. For the next 3 days, every time that impulse arises, consciously choose to restrain it and simply observe the feeling without acting on it. Feel the strength in that choice. This lifetime of quiet, restrained strength is not for our benefit alone. It is the raw material from which a meaningful legacy is built. In our final lesson, we will explore how this quiet strength leaves a loud and lasting legacy. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the culmination of our journey together. Lesson 7. Quiet strength leaves loud legacy. Consider a magnificent ancient tree standing in a field. For centuries, it has silently performed its function. It has provided shade for weary travelers, shelter for countless creatures, and held the soil firm against erosion. It never sought recognition or applause. Its legacy is not a plaque with its name on it, but the thriving ecosystem that exists because of its steady, quiet strength. This is the nature of a true legacy. The inner conflict we often face is the ego's deep craving for recognition, for credit, for fame. We want people to know the good we have done, to appreciate our sacrifices, and to remember our name. We chase titles, awards, and public praise, believing these are the markers of a life well lived. The problem with chasing recognition is that it corrupts the very actions we take. When our motive is to be seen, our choices become performative rather than authentic. We might do the right thing, but for the wrong reason. This focus on external validation is fragile and unsatisfying. Furthermore, a legacy is not what is written on your tombstone. It is what is written in the hearts of others and in the fabric of the world you leave behind. The desire for a grand, named legacy often leads to selfish, short-sighted actions. A loud legacy, built on self-promotion and noise, fades quickly. A quiet legacy, built on consistent, virtuous action and positive impact, endures for generations. The transformative solution is to shift your entire focus from building a reputation to building character. It is to dedicate yourself to a life of quiet, effective, virtuous action, completely detached from the outcome of whether you receive credit for it or not. The core idea is that your legacy is simply the cumulative result of your daily actions. Therefore, the only thing to focus on is the quality of your actions in this present moment. The ancient tree does not try to create a legacy. It simply is its nature, to grow, to be strong, to provide. Its legacy is a byproduct of its being. In the same way, our legacy is the byproduct of our character in action. By acting with integrity, courage, and kindness for its own sake, you are automatically building a powerful and positive legacy, whether anyone is watching or not. The steps to building this enduring legacy are the embodiment of everything we have discussed. First, make integrity your sole guide. In every decision, ask not, "What will get me ahead?" but "What is the right thing to do?" Let this be your unwavering compass. Second, focus on contribution, not extraction. In your work and relationships, constantly look for ways to add value, to support others, and to leave things better than you found them. Mentor others without needing credit. Share your knowledge freely. Third, build things that will outlast you. This could be a strong family, a healthy business, a beautiful garden, or a body of work that helps others. Focus on creating value that is not dependent on your continued presence. The ultimate benefit of this approach is a life of profound meaning and tranquility. You will be freed from the anxious, ego-driven need for applause. You will experience the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you are living a life of purpose and positive impact. Your quiet strength will become like the ancient tree, a source of shelter and stability for everyone in your orbit. And your influence will continue to grow long after you are gone. Not as a name, but as a positive force woven into the world. Your final practice is this. Find one opportunity today to do a good deed, offer help, or create value anonymously, with no possibility of receiving credit. Let the action itself be your complete reward. You have journeyed through 7 lessons on the path of quiet leadership, from the silence that commands respect to the quiet strength that builds an enduring legacy. The core message is that true influence is an inside-out job, born from emotional control, inner restraint, and a commitment to virtuous action. Carry this wisdom with you as you continue your journey. Thank you for investing your time and attention with Stoic Power. If this journey has provided you with value, please support our mission by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to the channel for more wisdom on building an unshakable life.